How to fill ceramic floor tile joints like a pro. Welcome back to Ighoud Ceramic Tiles. Today we are going to talk about a step in the tiling process that many people underestimate, but that professionals know is absolutely critical to the final look and long-term durability of any floor: filling the joints between ceramic tiles, more commonly known as grouting. A tile installation can be flawless in every other way, but if the grouting is done poorly, uneven, cracked, or the wrong color, it will completely ruin the appearance of the entire floor. On the other hand, when grouting is done correctly, it ties the whole installation together, creates a clean and uniform surface, and protects the tiles and the substrate underneath from moisture and dirt for many years to come. In this video, we will walk through everything you need to know, from choosing the right grout, to mixing it correctly, to applying it like a true professional, all the way through cleaning and sealing. Why grouting matters so much. Let's start by understanding exactly what grout does and why it is so important. Grout is not just a decorative filler between tiles. It serves several essential functions. First, it locks the tiles in place, preventing lateral movement that could crack the tiles or loosen the adhesive underneath over time. Second, it seals the joints against water and moisture penetration, which is especially critical in kitchens, bathrooms, and any area exposed to spills or humidity. Third, it prevents dirt, dust, and debris from collecting in the gaps between tiles, which would otherwise become very difficult to clean and could even become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria in wet areas. And finally, grout plays a major visual role, since the color and consistency of the grout lines significantly affect how the entire floor looks, whether you want a seamless, monolithic appearance with matching grout, or a bold, defined grid pattern with contrasting grout color. Tools and materials you will need. Before we start the actual process, let's review everything you need to have ready. You will need your chosen grout, which typically comes as a powder that needs to be mixed with water, though pre-mixed and epoxy options are also available. You will need a rubber grout float for applying and pressing grout into the joints. You will need a mixing bucket and a margin trowel or drill-mounted mixing paddle for combining the grout powder with water to the correct consistency. You will need at least 2 large sponges and a bucket of clean water for wiping away excess grout during the cleanup phase. You will need a soft, dry cloth or cheesecloth for the final polishing pass once the grout has begun to set. You will also want a grout sealer, if you are using cement-based grout, along with a small applicator brush or roller for sealing. Safety gloves are recommended throughout the process, since grout can be irritating to skin with prolonged contact. Step 1. Choosing the right grout. Not all grout is created equal, and choosing the right type for your project makes a significant difference in the final result. There are 3 main categories to understand. Cement-based grout is the most common and affordable option, available in sanded and unsanded varieties. Sanded grout is generally recommended for joints wider than about 3 mm, since the sand content helps prevent shrinking and cracking in wider gaps, while unsanded grout is used for very narrow joints, typically under 3 mm, and is also gentler on delicate or polished tile surfaces that could be scratched by sand particles. Epoxy grout is a more advanced option, offering superior stain resistance, durability, and a completely waterproof seal, making it ideal for high moisture areas like showers or pool surrounds. It is more expensive and more challenging to work with, since it sets faster and requires more careful technique. But the long-term performance benefits are significant, particularly in commercial settings or heavily used residential areas. Urethane grout is a newer option that combines some of the flexibility and stain resistance of epoxy with the easier application process of cement-based grout, and it has become increasingly popular among professional installers for its balance of performance and workability. When choosing your grout color, keep in mind that lighter colors show dirt and staining more easily over time, while darker colors can hide gradual wear but may show efflorescence or fading in certain conditions. Many professionals recommend a mid-tone gray for high-traffic residential floors, as it offers the best balance of aesthetics and low-maintenance practicality. Step 2. Preparing the tile surface before you begin grouting. The tile adhesive underneath must be fully cured, typically for at least 24 hours, though this can vary depending on the specific product used and environmental conditions like humidity and temperature. Attempting to grout too early can disturb the tiles before the adhesive has properly set, leading to movement, cracking, or uneven joints. Once the curing time has passed, remove all tile spacers from the joints. Check that the joints are free of any adhesive residue, dust, or debris, since anything left in the joint will prevent the grout from bonding properly and filling the space completely. If any adhesive has squeezed up into the joints during the tile setting process, use a utility knife or a small grout removal tool to clear it out to the proper depth before proceeding. Step 3. Mixing the grout. Follow the manufacturer's instructions closely when mixing your grout, since the correct water-to-powder ratio is essential for both workability and long-term strength. Pour the recommended amount of clean water into your mixing bucket. Then gradually add the grout powder while mixing continuously with a margin trowel or a mixing paddle attached to a slow speed drill. Mix until you achieve a smooth, lump-free consistency, similar to thick peanut butter or cake batter. It should be firm enough to hold its shape on the float but soft enough to spread easily into the joints. Avoid mixing at high speed, which can introduce air bubbles into the grout, weakening its final strength. After mixing, allow the grout to rest for the manufacturer's recommended slacking time, typically around 5 to 10 minutes. This resting period allows the chemical components to properly activate. After slacking, give the grout a brief second mix without adding any additional water, and it will be ready to use. Step 4. Applying the grout. Working in manageable sections, typically no more than 1 or 2 square meters at a time. Scoop a generous amount of grout onto your rubber float. Hold the float at approximately a 45-degree angle to the tile surface, and spread the grout diagonally across the joints, working it firmly into the gaps between tiles. The diagonal application angle is important, because moving the float directly along the joint lines can pull grout back out of the gaps rather than pushing it in. By working diagonally across multiple joints at once, you ensure the grout is pressed fully and evenly into each gap. Press firmly enough to eliminate any air pockets within the joint, since air pockets weaken the grout and can lead to cracking or crumbling over time. Continue working section by section across the entire floor, always keeping the float at that diagonal angle and applying firm, even pressure. Step 5. Removing excess grout. After grouting a section, use the edge of your float held nearly flat against the tile surface to scrape away the bulk of the excess grout from the tile face, moving diagonally again to avoid pulling grout out of the joints. This initial scraping pass significantly reduces the amount of cleanup needed later and prevents grout from hardening on the tile surface, where it becomes much more difficult to remove. Step 6. Sponging and cleaning. After allowing the grout to begin its initial set, typically for about 15 to 20 minutes depending on the specific product and ambient temperature, it's time to begin the sponge cleaning process. Dampen a sponge in clean water, wringing out excess water so the sponge is damp but not dripping, since too much water can weaken the grout by washing out its binding components before it has properly cured. Wipe the tile surface in a light, circular motion, being careful not to drag directly along the joint lines, which could pull grout back out while it is still relatively soft. Rinse your sponge frequently in clean water, changing the water in your bucket regularly as it becomes cloudy with grout residue. Work across the entire floor in this manner, gradually removing the surface haze while leaving the joints themselves full and undisturbed. This step often requires 2 or 3 passes with a clean sponge to fully remove residue from the tile faces without damaging the joints. Step 7. Final polishing. After the sponge cleaning is complete and the grout has had additional time to set, typically another hour or so, a light haze often remains on the tile surface as the grout continues to dry. Use a soft, dry cloth or cheesecloth to buff this haze away, revealing the true color and shine of your tiles. This final polishing step is what gives a professionally grouted floor its clean finished appearance, and it is a step that is very easy to rush or skip. But doing it properly makes a significant visual difference in the final result. Step 8. Curing time once the grouting and cleaning process is complete. The grout needs time to fully cure before the floor is subjected to heavy use or moisture exposure. Cement-based grout typically requires around 72 hours to reach a stable cure, though light foot traffic is often acceptable after 24 hours. Avoid washing the floor with water or exposing it to standing moisture during this curing period, as this can weaken the grout before it has fully hardened. Step 9. Sealing the grout. If you used cement-based grout, applying a grout sealer after the curing period is complete is highly recommended, particularly in kitchens, bathrooms, and any area prone to spills or moisture. Sealer helps prevent staining, protects against moisture penetration, and extends the life and appearance of your grout line significantly. Apply the sealer using a small brush or applicator specifically designed for grout lines, following the joints carefully to avoid getting excess sealer on the tile surface itself, where it can leave an unwanted residue or sheen. Allow the sealer to fully dry according to the product's specific instructions before exposing the floor to water or heavy use. Epoxy and urethane grouts typically do not require sealing, since their composition is inherently more resistant to staining and moisture, which is one of the key advantages of choosing these more advanced grout types for demanding applications. Common mistakes to avoid. Let's cover some of the most frequent mistakes people make when grouting ceramic floor tiles, so that you can avoid them in your own project. The first common mistake is grouting before the tile adhesive has fully cured, which can disturb the tile placement and lead to uneven joints or cracked tiles. The second mistake is mixing the grout incorrectly, either too wet or too dry, which affects both the workability during application and the long-term strength and durability of the finished joints. The third mistake is failing to work in small enough sections, which allows the grout to begin setting before you have a chance to properly clean the excess from the tile surface, making cleanup significantly more difficult. The fourth mistake is using too much water during the sponge cleaning process, which can wash out the binding components of the grout and weaken the joints before they have properly cured. The fifth mistake is skipping the final dry polishing step, leaving a visible haze on the tile surface that detracts from the overall finished appearance of the floor. The sixth mistake is neglecting to seal cement-based grout in wet areas, leading to premature staining, discoloration, and reduced lifespan of the grout lines. Maintenance tips for long-lasting grout lines once your grouting project is complete and fully cured. A bit of regular maintenance will keep your floor looking great for years to come. Clean grout lines regularly with a mild, pH-neutral cleaner, avoiding harsh acidic or abrasive products that can degrade the grout over time. Reapply sealer periodically, typically every 1 to 2 years for cement-based grout in high traffic or high moisture areas, to maintain its protective properties. Address any small cracks or areas of wear promptly, since minor issues can be repaired easily, while neglected damage can spread and require much more extensive repair work later on. Final thoughts. Grouting is often seen as the final, almost minor step in a tiling project. But as we have covered in detail today, it is actually one of the most important steps for both the appearance and the long-term performance of your floor. Taking the time to choose the right grout, mix it correctly, apply it with proper technique, and clean and seal it thoroughly will make the difference between a floor that looks amateurish within a year and one that looks professionally finished for decades. We hope this detailed, step-by-step guide has given you the knowledge and confidence to tackle your own ceramic floor tile grouting project, whether you are a homeowner completing a DIY renovation or a professional tiler looking to refine your technique on this essential finishing step. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a like. Leave a comment with any questions about your specific flooring project, and subscribe to IGHOUD Ceramic Tiles for more in-depth tutorials covering every aspect of ceramic, porcelain, marble, and terrazzo installation. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.